and welcome to the Essential Property Podcast with your hosts, Paul Samuda and Amanda Woodward. With 45 years of combined experience in the world of property buying, selling, investing and developing, they are here to share with you their knowledge in the Stoke-on-Trent, Newcastle-under-Lyme and Crewe property market. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Essential Property Podcast, where we discuss all things property within the Crewe, Stoke and Newcastle-under-Lyme area. My name is Amanda Woodward and I am pleased to have with me Nick Watchorn, founder and managing director of the Landlords National Purchasing Group. For some of you listening will know them as LNPG. And today we will be understanding more about the service LNPG provides both nationally and within our local investment area and how you can benefit from their services too. So hello, Nick, and welcome to the podcast.
And yes, and thank you very much for inviting us onto this podcast. So thank you.
You are very welcome. So Nick, if we just kick off, if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of obviously what you're doing with LNPG, but it'd also be good to know a little bit about your background prior to that and how the idea was kind of first born.
Well, that goes back quite a few years. It goes back to 2006. LNPG wasn't a plan. I kind of fell into this. I'm a landlord and I'm in a particular area up in the Mansfield area. And I was buying properties, but also I was supporting what they call the LHA market. And back in 2006, that we used to get the rents direct. And then very quickly it changed to directly to the tenants. And when that first happened, there were real major problems because suddenly tenants were getting this money that they hadn't got before. So I was invited to a council meeting to see how the landlords could help landlords, but what the landlords could do with the council as well and how they could help the council out. So I go to this meeting thinking that it was going to be the Mansfield Bozover District Council. I turn up and it's a national conference. There's over 600 people in this room. And I was sitting there thinking, and then they came over with the mic. So they invited me up and I got the mic in my hand. And they said, how can we help landlords? And I went, and all I said was, well, if you really want to get landlords on side, because at that particular time, there was a lot of arguments between the councils and landlords. Landlords would ring up and scream blue murder them because they're not getting their rent and then I said, well, if you want to get them on side, give them your pricing matrix when you're doing your refurbs, because I knew that they were on a special contract with all the suppliers. I didn't know what it was called. And they looked at me and they all went, no, I can't do that. So I said, why? Like an idiot. And they said, because we can't. It's a compliance scheme. So one guy just shouts out, well, do it yourself. I thought, what a great idea. It took me 5 years to get in the door. And that was after the 2008 financial madness. And then we were born in 2011. They allowed me in, but we were really tightly, heavily governed. What we couldn't do, what we could do, could only be when we first started, people that were supporting the LHA market. And we started, and the first member was a guy called Raj Berry, and he's still a member today. And it's grown from like having the plumbing and kitchens, because that's really all we had. And we've now grown to like 55 other manufacturers on board that support the landlord market. And we're now over we're over 5,300. I think it's 315 as we stand today. Wow. And last year we spent just coming up to £18 million as a group. And we're over £100,000 now as a group since we started. Nobody thought we'd ever get to this kind of size. Even I didn't. I thought, yeah, maybe 1,000 members and we'll keep it nice and tight. And we have on our Facebook group now, we have over 8,000 on that. So no, it's going really, really well, exceptionally well, especially with the COVID. People like to belong. Yes. And I have now in here probably about 12 people supporting members. We take well over 2,000 phone calls a month now between all of us. And sometimes it is really busy. But no, it's great. And landlords lean on us. They ring us and say, look, that's not worked properly, or can you help us there? Got a branch not looking after us. because don't forget, we're dealing with the trade counters, and they can be hard work because they like the trade going in, telling them what they want, put it on the counter, and out the door they go. Members and landlords and general public ask an awful lot of questions, and normally in these trade counters, there's only 2 or 3 people in there. They don't have the inclination to end up answering 20 questions.
Yeah.
But one of the tips I always give people, you're going to go into a trade counter with loads of questions, go in the afternoon, they're quiet. In the morning, at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, that's where their busy times are.
Yeah.
And they want to deal with the trade. But no, I mean, we must be doing something right to spend the kind of money that we're spending at the moment. So it's going really, really well. And I hope that answers your question.
It does indeed. It does indeed. So you spoke about kitchens and bathrooms, which was when LNPG was initially born, and you had the magnet contract with the kitchens, and then you've now developed quite substantially. So perhaps you could just share with us sort of a whistle-stop tour of the different supplies that are out there, through to the paint, the bathrooms, and sort of everything in between.
You've done it for me. I've got the list with me. So, yeah, I mean, we deal with Currys, we deal with AO. AO is gone from strength to strength. We've got now Johnson's decorating stores. A lot of people buy what we call retail paint, and what people need to look at is what they're buying. The number one paint in this country is contract matte. Yeah, people are buying it because it's £10 a tin.
Yeah.
But it's got no vinyl in it. It's very weak. It's watered down. They need to be looking at better quality paints, because it's not the cost of the paint that kills you, it's your cost of redecorating. So that's a little tip there for people that are looking at paint. But we've got bathrooms. I mean, we've got bathrooms, we've got Merlin, we've got Nibas, we've got multi-panel. I mean, just bathroom suites, we've got over 750 different products now on bathroom suites. And we use what we call the Nibas range, because Nibas range is a brand that doesn't exist, but other top manufacturers make it for Wolseley. I have a Nibas waterfall shower in my own home, but it's not. It's a Bristol shower, waterfall shower. It cost me £137 against 200 and something odd pound. It's not made of a lesser product. It's identical. So we've got now that, and we've got 23 hubs nationwide just looking after LNPG members. You've got a local branch to you, and I didn't know this actual area existed. You're going to have to help me pronounce it. Nantwich?
Nantwich is outside Crewe.
Yeah, and you've actually in that branch, and you've got Matt Swindle, you've got Helen Mary, and you've got Matt Thomas, and they are looking after completely your area.
Right.
So if you've got members in the area, they're the people to go to. You can pay on the phone. There's brochures on our website, and you can pick the phone up and it will be delivered from that branch. Okay.
And that's for bathrooms.
That's for bathrooms, multi-panel. That's not heating. That's not heating. With Wolseley now, you can email Matt. It's a central number now that looks after LNPG members. You still use the branch, but if you think, oh, what do I need? What do I want? You've got now direct access to people helping you. So that's the big thing with LNPG now. It's not just walking in, you've got to know what you want. We have now people behind helping members to make choices for them. Yeah. Exactly the same with Johnston's. We've got a technical helpline now with Johnston's. We've got like AO, you've got technical experts up there. They will help you. You've now got Magnet in Magnet now. You've got 24, I think it's 24, what they call CSM managers. You've got the branch network to support you. But if there's any problem, you come back to us and we will take it over and deal with it. And the CSM manager for your area is a guy called Chris Perez. And you've got the regional manager up there, is Christine Patel. Okay. And you've got the senior guy up there. That's the branch manager, Matt. And Michael Hewitt Michelle Hewitt is the local person on the ground that will help members out if they have any major problems. But that's the big change when we first started to where we are today. Like, we've now got legals. We've now got a little bit of insurance. And again, in your area, we've had a couple of members saying how good our insurances are with members in that particular area. Now you put me on my back foot. I'm trying to think, what else we got? We got 55. We've got Juicens. How can I forget Juicens? We've got Juicens. We've got Worcester, Baxi, Ideal.
Tell us a little bit about the heating side, because I think that's something that, wherever you are in the country as a landlord, we've all got boilers and we're all worried about the boilers. So I've heard you on another interview talking quite passionately about, in terms of, it's about raising the quality of what we're putting in the houses, not just getting cheaper products. Perhaps you can share a little bit about that in terms of the heating side.
Yeah. I mean, as a landlord myself, many years ago, I had quite a few properties. And the biggest headache is boilers don't ever break down in the summer.
Yeah.
Boilers always break down in the winter. And what happens is, not just your boiler, but everybody else's boiler breaks down. So when you're under the warranty, you ring the manufacturer up and they say, we can't come out for 10 days because we're so busy. You try and explain that to a tenant that's got 2 young children and it's -1 and you've got no heating. So we try to pick manufacturers that have a really good response time. And the people we choose is Worcester, Baxi and Ideal. Worcester is, in my opinion, number one. They're the biggest manufacturer. They have more men on the road, more people to service and fix problems. We get a really good warranty for the kind of price that we pay for a Worcester Bosch boiler. And it's our biggest contract, one of our biggest contracts. So why do you want to put a cheap boiler in that's £500 when you can buy better quality for the same kind of price? Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. So I always say to members, please upgrade your product, because it's not putting it in. It's going to work great for 12 months. But what happens when it breaks down? You need to be able to pick up the phone and speak to a company that's going to really get out to you quickly to fix that boiler. So my number one boiler choice is Worcester. And that's what we say to people all the time.
And I think the quality of housing across the country in the landlord sector, and I'll caveat this and say in the landlord sector that we're a part of, we can't talk for every landlord because there's definitely some less good quality products out there, but generally the quality of accommodation is increasing, it's improving.
It is.
And we need to be putting in the quality to be able to compete in the market. So this allows us to put in the quality, but not have to compromise on price, deliver a better quality product to the tenants, which obviously has massive benefits for us as landlords, keeps the tenants happy as well. So, it's ticking every box, which I guess is why it's ended up being, such a success for the members.
What I say to people is, I can't always promise to save you money against a cheap product. But if you can buy the real McCoy product at the same kind of price as the cheap stuff, the imitation kind of product, doesn't that make good sense? As a tenant, if you've got a magnet kitchen in and it's as cheap or as cost effective as a flat pack, and you put a magnet kitchen in, how's that tenant going to feel? Yeah, you are going to get tenants that don't care and they'll wreck the place and whatever. But the majority of people are going to think, God, this is a really nice kitchen. God, I've got a Worcester Bosch boiler. Yeah. How are they going to feel? And when they mark the wall, they can wipe the marker off the wall without taking the paint off. You do that cheap paint, so the house stays a nice home. Because if a house starts deteriorating, then your tenants really don't treat it with respect. So it's about keeping that kind of standard of living for tenants. That's the ideal world I try to live in. Now, I know reality says that you can't always do that. Yes. But if we can just keep nudging up and have better quality products in our homes for the tenants, it does lift the morale of the tenant and your area, in my opinion.
And I remember when we first started using LNPG, so we went from doing refurbishments with builders to overnight saying, right, we're going to order everything for you. And that can also put the nose out of joint a little bit, can't it? Have you got any maybe just recommendations in terms of just managing that relationship perhaps with builders in terms of how when you step in as the LNPG member?
Not all. I'm a builder by trade. So some builders are just going to push away from you. But I always say this, if you are doing a refurb on your own home, would you let anybody choose your products for you? No. So why is it any different on a buy-to-let?
Yeah.
It's the second biggest investment you're probably going to make in your life. You should treat it, and the products you put in should be of quality products that you've chosen. And you would not know if somebody's put a real cheap bathroom suites, crappy taps, and a cheap boiler. And you need to take ownership of that, because you'll be spending a fortune going forward. And I come back to the paint, and I'm not a painter and decorator, but if you don't put that better quality product in, your biggest cost going forward on looking after your property will be your redecorating cost. Because every time a tenant goes in, or in an HMO, somebody leaves a room, what do? You give it a redeck, repaint and tart it back up. And that costs you money. If you use better quality paint, you won't have to do it so frequently. So I say to my builders, look, work with us. We'll help you. We'll buy the products. We'll buy the big ticket items as well. Okay. Now, if there's a margin that you're losing, tell me about it. Because if you're going to say I'm going to lose 5%, because they don't add that much onto it. And again, I'm not interested about buying copper. Yes. So if I've got a massive refurb, I buy all the big ticket items, and I might say to the builder, look, he said, well, what happens if I run out of product? You don't order enough copper. I said, well, go and buy it.
Yeah.
It's not that much of a hardship to go and buy a couple of extra lengths of copper, is it? You're doing it anyway. You're saying to me, let me buy it. So what's the difference between you going and coming back? Oh, it takes, no, it doesn't. You're going there in the morning, the next day, to buy the freaking copper.
Yeah.
How many times do you see builders going, oh, I'm just popping down to Wicks's, or I'm just popping down to there to go and buy because I've run out?
Yeah.
Well, there's no absolute difference. And also, if you buy the products, especially on the plumbing side, I don't know too many plumbers that earn above a salary above the VAT threshold.
Yeah.
So the thing that pushes them into the VAT is when they buy the products. I've actually took my plumber, who was looking after when we were doing lots of refurbs, took him out of VAT because he didn't buy any of the products. We bought all the products. And suddenly he's saying, I've got more money.
Yeah, that's a big benefit for him, isn't it?
And also, I gave him a percentage of the VAT that I was going to be paying anyway. So you need to look at things like that and work with your builder. And if you've got a builder that's really entrenched in, I do it all, if you've got a problem at the beginning, you are definitely going to have a problem at the end. What happens when something goes wrong? What happens when you need to get him back? If he's stuck in his ways, trust me, you're going to have a problem right across the journey. So get yourself a builder that you can work with, that you can build up a great relationship, and you can have these conversations with. We're a people's business.
Absolutely. And I remember that we'd always used to get, there's no way that you can get that boiler cheaper than me. And I would say, it's fine, don't worry, I'll get it. You know, you don't need to know any of the details. But they couldn't believe that, you know, you could possibly do a better job than their trade discounts. But as you say,
even the trade don't understand, yes, why they are cheaper than retail. Yeah, retail don't understand why trade are better. They think it's to do with volume. It has nothing to do with volume. It's all to do with the cost to serve. If you go to a plumbing merchant, how many people are in that store? 3, 2, and where are they? They're normally on industrial trading estates, very low rent, very low cost. Where's the B&Qs of this world? On Wicks's. They're prime position. There's lots of staff. In B&Q, there must be at least 100 staff in each superstore. Well, who pays for that? You doing your pricing matrix. So it has nothing to do with about the trade get cheaper prices because they're buying 20 times what you are buying. It's all to do with the cost to serve. That's the only price difference. Yeah. So you could actually go into the trade and get them type of prices.
Yeah. And if you have got somebody who's listening who thinks, oh my goodness, I just couldn't imagine walking into, you know, Magnet Trade Counter and not really knowing what I'm doing. Like you say, don't go in the morning when you've got all the vans outside queuing up, go in the afternoon. But you mentioned about that you've now got 12 people that are supporting a helpline. So just to elaborate again, what sort of help can members get if they need some support from LNPG?
Again, we have members ringing up saying, look, I really need help with the branch. So they'll do the design for you. Yes. If the branch are really extremely busy, then CSM manager will come in, okay, and talk to you and guide you and do the design for you. So they will do that type of service. And also they take you through the ordering process. Now, with COVID, about getting products, sometimes that's where it breaks down, and we will support you on that. If you've ever got an issue, you just pick up the phone. My way is a little bit harder to begin with because you're being educated, and when you don't know something, it takes a little time to grab hold of. But once you've got it and understood it, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to understand this. Once you understood the process and how hard it is to design a kitchen and how hard it is to order a kitchen, it's not that hard. So once you've got it, you've now got another string to your bow. But we are always there to support you. If you've got a question, don't understand the price of that. I mean, we've got 24 hubs on the baths, 23 hubs now on the bathrooms. You've got a brochure. You've got somebody who will help you design a bathroom. They won't do a 3 CAD drawing, but they'll go through it with you and they'll say, well, that goes there, that goes there. What kind of quality taps do you want? And you can look at the kind of brochure. And they are really helpful. When we were with bathroom.com online, we were doing about 30,000. Within 2.5 years, we're now doing between 100 and 178,000 pound on bathroom suites. We're doing between 500 and 780,000 pound on kitchens. So we've got to be doing something right to be doing that level of business. Yeah, paint 600,000 on just acrylic durable mat. It took me 6 years to convince people to buy that paint because it's not cheap. So we are there to support you right across the journey. We have now people in virtually, like even the carpets. We've even got a helpline now with carpet and flooring to help people choose their carpet. The number one question that carpet get made me laugh. This guy, I won't say who it was, a person rang up and said, they said, oh, what kind of carpet do you want? He went, well, I've got an average size house. I've got tenants with a baby. And they said, what size is your front room? What size? We said, it's an average kind of. And then you've got people ringing up saying, I don't know what colour I want. Can you help me with the colour? They're not going to have a clue what colour. So please have the space and have the colour. You might sit there laughing, yeah? I mean, we get it. We do get it. And I don't know why, but just sometimes we leave our brains at home. I've done it plenty of times. I want that thingamajig. I forgot the name of what it is. The bloke behind the counter looks at me and goes, yeah, what's that thingamajig? I've had one member made me laugh. This was walked in and went, I want an LNPG boiler. The branch manager looked at him and went, an LNPG boiler? You mean an LPG gas boiler? And he went, no, I want an LNPG member. I want an LNPG boiler. The member thought the boiler was called LNPG.
Brilliant.
That did make me laugh. He rang me, he said, I made myself look such an idiot. What he was really saying was, I'm a member of LNPG, can I have a Worcester Boss boiler?
I'm assuming you're going to have a variety of members. Out of interest, how does your membership look in terms of sort of newbie investors through to the more experienced? Do you offer services, I guess, for both?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we have the amount of people here. To begin with, even the more experienced members ring and say, I'm getting stuck on that. How do I do that? How do I do this? And then once they get it a little bit quicker than what we call newbie investors. Yeah, and we're there to hold their hand. And I mean, just going to Jewson's, we put something to Jewson's last year because of COVID, they really want, because our volume of size, they're trying to make things really quite easy for members. We've now got a central hub for Jewson's, which went live 2 months ago. Now what we've asked is, well, if members ring up or put an email in, they get a phone call back. Within the next 3-4 weeks, they're putting a designated line in so members can pay over the phone. Oh. Don't have to get the order. Yep. Then take that order to the branch and say, that's what I want. You'll be able to pay for it over the phone. That central hub will put the order in for you and it'll be delivered for you. And that's going to happen in about 4 weeks' time.
Well, that's definitely helpful because, you know, we're not always there on the ground at the suppliers. So that makes, you know, anyone who's investing maybe slightly remotely, then it's great for them, isn't it, still?
Yeah, absolutely. We look after the people, the amount of people that live down south and buying up north,
Yes.
Yep. They ring us. We ring the CSM managers. Yep. In the suppliers like Magnet, and the CSM manager will go out to the property and do the design because the member can't get there. That happens all the time.
Brilliant. So I'm going to ask you a cheeky question now, and you may or may not be able to answer, but do we have any new supplies in the pipeline? Have we got anything to look forward to?
God, do you know what?
I wouldn't be allowed to say.
No. Yeah, we've got quite a few coming up. I mean, three things that I want to improve on was I want to improve the service that we provide, and and also the website journey. That's the two things that I really want to concentrate on this year. But also, I want to bring an app in the back end of this year. We were supposed to do that last year, but because of COVID and technology, we just couldn't put the two together to work in the same room. But hopefully I can get that done. But also improving the service with the existing suppliers to make that journey. Now, Anthony shoots me every time I open my mouth, about bringing new supplies. He said, we haven't even done the deal yet. Yeah. So Anthony goes mad. He goes mad. He said, Nick, now you've put everybody in a corner and tells us that. So he's looking at me going, no, you can see me, audience can't. He's going, don't do that. So yes, we have got new suppliers coming on board, but he's telling me, don't open your mouth. I launched the Merlin showers and the stove fires, and the bathroom furniture. I said it will come live next year. It took 6 months to get them on board, and then members were ringing up going, when are they coming? When are they coming? And I'm going, so I'm not allowed to say anything, but we have got other suppliers coming, and so that's all right. So
good stuff. Okay, so I guess in closing, Nick, can you give us an idea, and obviously this will only be relevant as of today, but how does the membership work? What sort of price point? How do prospective people get in touch to get involved?
Okay, two things is you ring my office and we'll take you through the membership, or you just go online and join.
Okay.
If you go online and join, please take our phone call within the next next 3 days, because we take you through the membership, because we have to open accounts for you and with you and tell you which ones you need to open, but it's always done here. Okay. So we take you through that whole process. Also, we ring you 6 months into your membership, just in case you had a problem or something's not quite gone right. We pick it up really quickly. We don't just take people's monies as a membership organisation and just forget you. We ask the question, have you had any issues? If the answer is yes, why the heck didn't you ring us? That's the big thing for me. It's about, we want to know what's gone wrong so we can nip it in the bud and deal with these things. So if you own 1 to 3 properties, and you have to be a landlord, 1 to 3 properties, it costs you $199. If you own 4 to 26 properties, it's $299, and above 26, it's $399.
And then remember, it says they're auto-renewing every year. The members are using the subscription every year, and they just keep rolling it on all the time that they need it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, for the smaller landlords, I can't promise you that you are going to save your membership fee every year. If you've got 2 houses, you've done the free refurb, and then we have people leave, and then they come back, and they want a boiler tomorrow, or they want something the next day. So I say this to people, if you don't save your membership in any given year, we roll you over free of charge the following year, in any year. So it's not just your first year. Yeah, it's in any year that if you don't save your membership fee, the following year rolls over free of charge. So I call it a no-brainer. If you don't save money, it doesn't cost you anything, your membership. If it does, now, the one thing that we do, which does happen, members bought a kitchen, bought it, done all that, and then they leave after their first year and they come back 3 months later. We have to reopen everybody's accounts. That takes time, and they want a boiler the very next day. So I say to people, why leave? Can it cost you £199 or $299, which is tax deductible? And I said, and then you're a member. If you don't save anything, you don't use it, well, it just rolls on.
Yeah.
Until you do. So and I'm a landlord, so I don't like spending money when I don't need to. But I do believe that LNPG membership is really worth its money in weight in gold, because I'm a landlord. So I try to think like a landlord does, and I run the business as I would. What would the landlords want, and how would they want it to work? Some days I do fall flat on my face. Some days it doesn't work, yeah. But we get up and we go again. And we try to be, well, we don't try, we tell it how it is. Look at all the 50 odd webinars. All you got to do is watch them, and you'll get a feel for what we're like. We don't hold our punches with our manufacturers either.
Brilliant. I mean, as you say, I think to use your phrase, no-brainer, it does seem a little bit of a no-brainer in terms of the membership. If you are in the landlord space, and certainly if you're renovating a bunch of properties, which some of the medium-sized investors, we do go through that purge of a few years where there's quite a few refurbs on the go. So it is, an absolute no-brainer to get involved. And
the other thing, and please, I need to say this because this is just reared its head again. You are not allowed to use products for your friends down the road, your mates, your mother, yeah, please, or buy products to resell them. If you do that, and the manufacturers will catch you, they will get us to pursue the difference between what you paid and the retail price or trade price, and they will ask us to go and collect that money back from you, because it's to do with the rebate off of that product, because they're saying they're making money off their goodwill to bring that price down. So please do not buy a product to make money on. It is there only for your home, and you can use it on your own house.
Okay. And
your buy-to-lets. Yeah. Please.
All that good stuff.
And because you're doing this is off the spur. I'm sorry to cut you short there. I didn't mean to do that. What I'll do is anybody comes in your area, part of your thing, and they use your name, we'll give them 10% off.
Oh, fantastic. Brilliant. That's great.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to do that. So if they listen to this,
yeah,
and the password, and people won't know until they've watched it, it'll be your name.
Okay, fair enough. No, that's great. As I say, we're building up the people that are listening to the podcast, and it's very niche in and around investing in Stoke, Newcastle, and Crewe. So we definitely appreciate the few little names there in terms of who to contact. Obviously, they can contact you, well, not you personally, but the team in terms of getting a steer. And if they use the secret password, then they'll get a little discount off their membership. So that sounds good.
I mean, not being rude or disrespectful, it's hard out there at the moment. Anybody can help, just push and help get your podcast out there, then I'm all for that. And you're helping to promote LNPG. So it's the least I can do. Good.
No, I really appreciate that. Nick, that's been great. Thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to hopefully speaking to you again at some point. Cheers, Nick.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if so, please hit subscribe and share with those who you think would enjoy it too. To get in touch with Paul and Amanda directly, please visit their website www.essentialpropertyoptions.co.uk for more information. We look forward to sharing with you on the next episode.